what you're saying. It's almost like,
and that's what they're saying. You were moved, or, for a better word, possessed by the Holy Spirit. You know, hopefully you were at a good church and it was truly that. But like you said, we've seen some church, some cults, some stuff like that, and we don't know what's moving through there. So there's a whole nother realm of the spiritual realm, and not everything is
but
holy or godly. But
we gotta kind of leave this alone.
yeah,
But we're gonna we went to the first Sunday service at his old church, and
at our church.
well, it was your church first, and now it's our church because he's actually really a member of the church. They have his information, email, the children name, my name, and all of that. So we're actually members of that church.
She got me, y'all. I like to fly. She knows me. I like to fly under the radar. I'll come. I'll do everything. But again, there's a process to be a member. They'll tell you to come up, and then they usher you off that way. And then they take you to the little room in the back. And I was like, ooh, I ain't going there. If I'm going to do it, I'll probably do it online. But then again, the online just never came. So I just kept going and kept giving my money and kept signing up for things and volunteering. Same thing with the ministry they had, to be your own boss, or the business ministry, to teach people about entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Shoot, we missed. Is it today or it's today?
It's Tuesday.
It was Tuesday? We missed it. They were having one of the owners of This Is It barbecue. It's a big
I think
franchise
this is it.
here.
It's just in
It's
Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah, it's a big franchise here in Georgia, but it's soul food, barbecue
Two
stuff.
brothers.
So, gosh, I missed that. I can't believe I missed that. That's what, my alarm was going off for something, and I was like, dang, what did I have at this time? And I just canceled it because I didn't realize what it was. But anyway, that I helped, a few of the members start that and kind of help people become entrepreneurs and kind of go from there.
So yeah, when we went to church on Sunday, it's first Sunday, and everybody know, if you're a Christian, first Sunday is communion Sunday. We did the communion and everything, and it's almost like the pastor was talking directly to us, per se, talking to you about business and a whole lot of other things and entrepreneurs. He was praying about that. He was, he was worshiping almost like we were the only one in the church. Well, that's how I felt.
That's how I felt every Sunday.
So, I'm there, and then when he said, whoever want to, for him to pray over your, all the entrepreneurs, he said to come up, and we went. I told him, let's go, because he always act like he don't want to go up. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I always, if he wanted to go up, let's go up. God's blessing not gonna miss us, so we going up. So we went up, and I was there, and he's preaching. A lot of people was up there as well, and it was almost like, I don't know. I just start crying. Like, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. I had on a full face makeup. I had on my eyeliners that is not waterproof. So I'm there, and I don't know how this come over me. I was crying. I felt like 3 or 4 tears coming out of one eye. My face felt so wet. My nose is running. It was a mess. And I'm just there like, I don't even care. I'm thinking like, oh, my makeup is running. My face is a mess. All I saw was when he looked over on me and like he was shocked. And
Mind you, the service before, I took tissue because I didn't know. I'm like, oh, she'll probably cry or something like that. So let me just get some tissue from the ushers just in case. And I kept it in my pocket. And she didn't cry. So at this service, I was like, nah, I don't need. When they were coming by, I was like, I don't need tissue. She's a trooper. I'm good. I'm good for today. I think I'll make it through. And so then we were up there, and I was shocked because I look over them, seeing tears. I'm like, what happened? what happened? So I asked the usher.
He was calling for the lady to bring the tissue so bad. I thought I turned to him. I said, "Oh, my face is all blacked up from the because he was calling her like, come on, I need this tissue like right now." So, but yeah, I was up there boohoo crying, and then we went and sat down, and he said, what the word he said?
he does it every Sunday where he's like, you know, if
He
you
did that
at the same, he does it every service,
yeah.
which is great. He's just like, you know, if this spoke a word to you, if you've been looking for a church home, if you've been, you know, seeking and searching and such, or you want to get a closer relationship with God or whatever it is, if you're feeling and this, you feel that this is a good, and she just boop jumped up.
No. I told him. I said, I'm going
She
up
jumped
there.
up.
I said, I'm going up there, and he's like,
In my
we
ear,
are.
it sounded like we're going up there, so I jumped up too, and grabbed our stuff and started going because I know as soon as you go up there, they're gonna usher you off to the left. So I'm like, oh.
So he know the
So I was like, oh
process.
Lord, let me grab the stuff. I never thought I'd be one of those getting ushered off to the left.
So yeah, ushered off. He filled out the paperwork for us to become a member, and the rest is history.
Anyway,
So yeah,
shout out to Pastor Purvis
so we
and
are
the whole congregation.
so we are a member of her church, a church. I'm not gonna
It's
say
at her church,
a church,
a church, his church.
his church. No, it's a church. So yeah, that's that about his calling for
And you act like
start
it's mine.
having
It
a
was you too.
a
You were-
wall. I've been feeling like that because again, I've been baptized twice, so I don't think I'm gonna do it again. I'm just gonna, work on being a better me.
Actually, comment down below. If you've been baptized a few times in your life, maybe the last time was several years ago in a different church, maybe in a different denomination or something like that, and you feel that thirst and hunger for more of a connection and, to get back right.
So the
Should
question
you get baptized again, or should you get baptized now
In
through
that
your
church.
new church or your new denomination or whatever it would be? Even though this church is non-denominational, so that's another good thing. Again,
It's
they're meeting you right
international.
where you are. But let us know. Is that something you would say, you would do, or she should do, like, or we should do?
I've done it twice, and I don't know if I want to do it a third time. So, like he said,
If you don't feel moved, I would, and I know they're gonna say it. If you don't feel so moved in that regard, then don't do it, because it's when it calls you to do it.
if it
you'll
was
feel
when
it.
I was 13, 14, the first time I got baptized, I would have said, okay, yes, I would want to do it again. But I've done it, I was 29, going on 30, when I got
It
baptized
doesn't. I don't think
again.
it matters when you do it.
No, I'm just saying, I
I
don't.
think it's why you do it is usually.
It still
difference.
it still stand. The reason why I stopped going to that church is because of I was feeling like
Say
it wasn't what I was looking for. It was more of a dictation and not on not necessarily saying my terms, but I don't feel you should be able to tell me not to wear lipstick today or not to wear perfume today. Those things to me, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe churches are like that, where they're telling you what you can and cannot wear.
I don't know. Well, other than, ooh, I almost threw a stone. The only church I knew or denomination that I knew that would do that growing up was when I visited, with family members to the SDA church. Because again, women shouldn't have their ears pierced.
In Jamaica,
or you
it
shouldn't
was
wear pants or those kind of things. And
The-
that's typically the Seventh-day Adventist church. But
in Jamaica. I got baptized
I got
in
both
a
my ears pierced.
Baptist.
I don't subscribe to that religion or that denomination. Again, no knock on the family. Most of my family is Jamaican, so a lot of them are Seventh-day Adventists. The others are Catholic, not Catholic, Baptist,
Baptist.
and what have you.
Yeah, so I
So
got
I subscribe
baptized
a
in
little bit more to that.
a Baptist church, and back then, I guess I got baptized in 99 or 98, and back then Jamaica was still where if you're a Christian you can't wear pants and no earrings, you can't have a perm, no hair extension, all those stuff was back then.
When you say a Christian, that's a broad brush. 'Cause
I
again,
mean,
an Adventist. Are
No,
you
it's a
Church of God?
Baptist. It's a Baptist church.
Because I know some Baptist churches that was never an issue
And in Jamaica,
in Jamaica
all
as well.
in Jamaica, I know maybe 99% of the church is female cannot wear pants. Back then, maybe now, because I've seen my aunts and other people now wear pants. Well, back then, they never used to. You couldn't wear pants. You couldn't wear anything above your knees.
You
These
talking
are
about to church or period?
period. Or even to church, period. So when we did that, like I said, when my cousin and I, and we see the church members, I know some of them is on my Facebook page right now, or we're, still friends on Facebook. And when we see them coming, we start running and hiding because we might have on a shorts or a little skirt that's shorter than what they approve of, and we have to hide. But as I got older and got here, and I saw like Mary and them, and they're singing and they're wearing stuff, even Sarah Jenkins, stuff like that, because I like to get dressed up. The church that we are a member of now, I see the pastor, he dressed like how my husband would dress. The wife would dress like how I would dress. I approve it. That don't mean you're not godly. That don't mean that, you're less blessed than somebody that have a skirt pulling on the floor and, your hair is not done or none of that. So that church, when I got baptized, I did not know before I jumped in.
The full ideology behind what was going on.
I jumped in before I know
And
the
that's
whole
my
play.
thing. What concerns me about some people when they're getting baptized, just because you become a member of a church, I don't think that moment immediately is a time for you to get baptized, because
You don't know
you
everything.
don't know what's going on. So now that's why I'm asking that question. If you were baptized in a different denomination or a different ideology or something like that, do you feel like, again, that was different? That's almost like if you were Catholic and you got baptized Catholic, but now you're Baptist. Do you say, okay, well, I subscribe to this and I'm jumping into this wholeheartily and, cleanse me of it? As I said, there's no push to do it right now.
This church is not it's a non-denomination.
Yeah, I know.
It don't. The second church that I got baptized in, they
I'm trying
they
not
go
to
by
say-
the Hebrew way. They say Yahweh and Yahshua, the Messiah. The Bible is the Hebrew Bible. It's not the
understand
and
Hebrew
it's
Israelites.
it's a Church of God. I think maybe that pastor himself, how he was conducting it and stuff, it was not what I was looking for. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was something bad. It was just not
If
for
you got
me.
baptized in a cult, would you feel like, so I'm trying to say, like, you know what I mean? Like,
But
that's like if a pastor married you, but he wasn't really a real pastor, you know what I mean?
But you got the certificate. It's saying that unless the certificate is not valid.
That's like me
then-
just saying I'm gonna go ahead and marry somebody, but I ordained myself, and I'm printing off certificates, and I give you a certificate. Does that mean that is it legitimate in a sense? Without calling it out, is it full on legitimate? That's all I'm saying. But again, you guys let me know. I don't know, maybe some people say, hey, you're supposed to only get baptized one time, or maybe
I know.
you get christened as a child, and you get baptized as an
But
adult when
they
you turn
would-
your life
would-
over to God.
In Jamaica, a lot of times they used to say, like, if you got baptized and you drift away from the church, like they would say you backslide. If you backslide, then if
you
you already,
wash again.
I don't think, no, they didn't
You
say
don't wash
that.
again, you
No, you come in and you almost like you repent and, ask for forgiveness, but you don't get baptized over.
I think people
But
can.
if
I
you
think
want to,
like a recommission or rededication.
if you want to, you can. That's I think you could say it's a personal preference, and maybe some church that is maybe conducting stuff a certain way, because I think that's what the Church of God, 7-Day Church of God,
What?
did, and maybe
Did what?
he actually said that even though I was baptized before, I would have to do it again just because it wasn't the Hebrew way, which when you're getting the normal baptism, it will be.
Then there it is. You're
They
saying
bring you
exactly what I'm
back.
saying. If you went down this way, again, nothing against Hebrew Israelites. Don't come in here and tear up my DMs. But again, what I'm saying is, let's say if you were baptized under a Jewish faith, or this faith, or that faith, or Catholic, or Seventh-day Adventist, but now you've switched denominations, or you're non-denominational, or you're recommitting
Now
yourself.
that is a switch because
You're
it's a
recommitting yourself.
It's a 7 day church.
So
God.
I don't know. I would think that at some point, if you're not moved to do it now, I wouldn't even tell you to do it right now because again, we're new members back in the church, so you gotta wait till you
Yeah,
feel that
I don't.
let the Spirit move you.
I don't know. I don't think, and the reason why I probably say I don't want to do it again, because I think I jumped in so fast, getting baptized again in a different church, and it didn't last.
It didn't take.
It didn't last.
It didn't take. You know what I mean? You gotta wash you again because it didn't take.
So,
But when we're ready, to wash.
so yeah, that's that about our, I guess a backstory about our faith, and that we believe in God 10 toes down.
10 toes down.
Talking about religion is like talking about politics because a lot of people is going to disagree and a lot of people might agree, but it's our own walk with God, our own, personal
Journey.
opinion and our own journey. So yeah, that's that. Was it today or yesterday? We were riding in the car and, we listened to the Burt Show or listened to the Burt Show and, they have some good
little
stories,
segments,
little
yeah.
segments that will have you think like, what? Or okay. So, I don't know. All of a sudden, he's like, have a lady on the line, and she have
They said
a
it's an
question.
emergency
It's an
call.
emergency call.
So they've got this, they've got a segment where they call it stepping into psycho, but they wouldn't, they wouldn't slap her with that for that segment, but they said it's an emergency call, urgent, and she needs wisdom and guidance right now. So they talked to her, and she basically said she is in the car, en route to her ex-husband's home, because the children their biological children that they co-parent,
Two.
was two children that are
One is
at
7, one is 10.
at the dad's house, and the child, I guess, was telling her about daddy's new friend that spends the night.
Well,
That's a lady, because she said something about the kid said, "Oh, I don't like it when she tickles me," and she's like, "What?" So she'll hold me down and tickle me on the floor.
and she would not stop. I guess that's how she found out about him having someone.
Some special friend down and tickles me. So the mom's like, "Who is this?" "Oh, daddy's new friend that sleeps over." So she was like, "I lost it." I was like, "What? We're supposed to talk about that. He's supposed to let me know who's around my children and this, that, and the other. And I am on my way there because I'm going to confront this head on, and I want to be there and see her and see who this is and all that kind of stuff." So
Backstory: they been divorced 2 years. The co-parenting, she said, is not the best.
Not
It's
going well.
toxic. It's not going well. But she is in the car driving over there.
per her,
Per
it's
her.
toxic. But we again, it's one-sided because we only heard her side. We don't know what it really looks like or what it really is. She claims that it's toxic because they can't really communicate well or whatever. And I could see why, because before she picks up, everyone's like, "Well, just call. That's a phone call." Before she picks up the phone to call him, she's jumped in her car and she's headed over there. And that's going to make an awkward situation out of the whole thing. It could go left because now, again, some people don't like public embarrassment because now she pulls up and now dad's new friend is there. So now he's got to try to assort some kind of, authority over the situation. It's a sticky situation either way. Even people were, the lady was saying, or other people on the Burt Show, cast members were asking, is there not anything in the divorce decree that kind of designates meeting other people or when that happens, or do they have to introduce you first? And typically in most divorce documentation, it is not in there, but that's usually within the parenting class or whatever, a discussion that they tell you to have to keep that open line of communication as to if you guys can speak to each other. Hey, what kind of boundaries are we setting? We know that we both need to go on with our lives, but at what point do you feel that the children maybe should meet a friend or someone that could potentially or is now becoming a significant other, because you don't want the kids to meet everybody you're dating, because now you're seeing, you know, your kids might see somebody this week, somebody new next week, somebody new the next month, and by the time you look at it, in 3 months they might have met 5 different people. That just doesn't look well. So I think with in my situation, I think we had like a several month thing. It was more of when you feel that this is real and it's been several months and you feel at that point that, okay, I want to introduce the kids and that kind of stuff, that's when you kind of let it be known that, hey, this is what's happening or whatever, or try to do an introduction. But it's normally not
but
written. So in that regard, I would have told her, turn around. Hell no, stop, turn around. Don't do it, because it's going to go left. If that was my situation, first of all, I wouldn't have done that. Even if the kids told me, hey, such and such, and somebody's over there, and Mr. Jimmy, and he spends the night or whatever, that would still be a conversation. That would be a phone call. Hey, I don't know who this Mr. Jimmy is around the kids. How long has this been going on? Such and such and such. Do you know about his background? Do you know much about this person? How long have you known them? Because again, children, especially they've got young age children, they could be vulnerable. You never know. It just takes one incident, one moment to steal someone's innocence. And that's all I wanted to convey to anybody, whether it be my ex or the kid's mom or whoever. I tell family and friends, it just takes a moment to steal somebody's innocence. So be very mindful around who you have the kids around, because I work in healthcare. I've worked in mental health and counseling, and I've worked to help people remove children out of the homes and bring them back to the homes and reunite them. So I've seen it all, and I've heard a lot of horror stories. So again, I just never wanted to be in that situation. So that would be my 2 cents to most people.
And for mine, I'm going back to, they're divorced for 2 years, and they have a toxic co-parenting
Whatever that
thing
may look
going
like.
on. Whatever that may look like, he probably not open to let her know. Like, he's been seeing this person for a year. They probably never, the kids, they weren't sleeping over or anything. But now the relationship has progressed, and she is now coming over because he sees that, okay, this is somebody that I'm going to be with. But just because they not co-parenting or not on talking terms, he did not want his new person to meet his ex, and I can understand why. So a lot of times I feel like exes sometimes taking it personal for themselves and not really thinking about the children, but using the children as an excuse. So in this case, I would tell her, turn you around and go sit somewhere, go to therapy, get some help, and get over that man.
Yeah, she needed to go sit down, because again, she was too amped, it didn't come from a place of care and concern about the children. It didn't sound like that. A lot of it sounded like, pent up anger, frustration. How could he move on so quickly? Who is this person? And it's just been 2 years. So
2
again,
years is a long
2 years
time.
is a long, long time.
So what say you? That's his word. What say you? Is it okay for a stepmom or a stepdad to whoop their stepchildren?
Again, that's something that usually is talked about in divorces as well. Hopefully, if you're
Well, it wouldn't be.
it would
be
definitely have to be
But
talked
but
about.
it's the stepchild. It's
It
the
doesn't matter.
so.
So my children are someone's stepchildren. So is it okay for someone over there to be beating my children if they're not, or again, black people, we say beating, but it means spanking my children if they're not doing something properly? And the answer I gave to that same question was no, I didn't want anybody else, because I'm an active father. I play such an active role in our children's lives. I don't think that somebody else needs to be disciplining them in that matter. If it needs to happen, then I could check them on that behavior, even if it's over there, and discipline them myself if I needed to. If I got to spank them, then yeah, I would do so. But that's for me. Would I be okay if somebody's around them for a while and knows them and stuff like that, and
And they disrespect, for instance, say one of your children disrespect their stepdad, and he felt like the disrespect was to the point where he put hands on them, him or her.
It also might depend on the age, because again, we've got older kids. So if these were
Regardless.
if these were younger children, maybe
Regardless.
5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, and they cursed at him or called him whatever, and depends on the extent of the, I don't know, depends on the extent of the disciplining.
For me,
But I grew up in, a spanking thing. So yeah, if they said, oh, so and so spanked me, and then I would talk clearly first to the mother, like, hey, what happened? And oh yeah, he popped him 2 times because he cursed at him and said such and such and didn't care and ran off or slammed the door or whatever. And then again, if it was such and such or it was a pop or
for me, I disagree with it. I do not feel like I would give anyone the right to spank or beat my children, because again, I wouldn't do it to someone else's. If there are parents that are involved in this child's life, regardless, you inform them. Like per se, you would tell me that they're doing something that you don't like, and again, you already know I'm not. With my daughter, she give a lot of talking. So if she do something that I don't like right then and there, I probably popped her, and that's it. I'm not a parent that plan a whooping that say, oh, or even if I say I'm gonna whoop you when I get home, 9 times out of 10 when I get home, 9.5 times out of 10 when I get home,
she makes false threats.
it's not, because I've never got a whooping, never.
I grew up getting spankings or beatings, as we say in Jamaica. I grew up getting beatings, and I grew up under the guise of it takes a village. If I did something out in the street, then yes. In Maypen, if I did something and I threw a stone and hit somebody such and such, that neighbor had the permission to slap me.
And
then they would tell my grandparents, my great grandparents, why they slapped me, and
and
then I'd
I've-
get another slap there. So
I grew up with
same thing with aunts and uncles. My
I
dad,
guess my mom being, I don't want to say single mom, she was married when my dad was here, but saying where if my children did something wrong, let me know what they did, and then I'll handle it. Because sometimes when you give people the privilege or the okay to say you can discipline my child, and I don't know the extent of your discipline, what you might feel like it's okay for you to do because you've done it to your children, might hurt my children to the point where there ain't no coming back from that. So again, I do not okay anyone to say, you tell me and then I'll handle it. If it's something that you might feel like how I handle it is not how you would have handled it, but those are my children. So it's either you're gonna.
when you were in school in Jamaica, did you ever see the teachers or the principals or anybody?
I
give anyone
got
spankings
one time. Let me say, one time I got a whooping
in school?
in school, and this was in junior high school. And up until this day, I feel like if I see that lady, she called me and called me down to the principal office, and I don't get in trouble. I don't do anything that I feel like is wrong. And she called me, and at the school gate they will sell little tattoos where you go under the water and rub it on and stick it on your skin. And I did put one on my leg, and she called me to the principal office and say she beat me for that because I have a fake thing on my leg.
No, that to me is not a justified thing. But again, what happens is when you enroll the children in school, your parents sign paperwork giving them permission to discipline you.
My mom was dead at that time, that same year. She don't know what I was going. She don't know what I'm going through. She don't know. She didn't know me. She saw I have a fake tattoo. Why did you put that there? I'm going through losing my mom. I don't have my dad there, but now you're gonna put your hands on me because it's your preference. It's what you. It's not your body. It's my body. But you gonna feel like you're gonna be. You didn't even ask any question. You didn't ask me to wipe it off or anything. You start putting hands on me.
What if your kids are over at their aunts or uncles' houses and they're acting up, being disrespectful or whatever, or do something? Do their aunts or uncles have permission to discipline them?
Like, I would say yes, and I'll say no, just for the simple fact a lot of my aunts and uncle, or my aunts and
No,
uncle,
your children.
my children, aunts and
your
uncle,
siblings. Do they have permission to?
they
discipline?
would, but I know how they are as well. we feel the same. We feel the same way just because of our upbringing. We feel the same way about it. Growing up, we didn't get. I didn't get whooping. I only saw Christopher. Oh, sorry to call it. I always saw my brother. One of my brother get whoopings because he would talk back, and my mom would run and grab him and start.
One time for the Sagittarius out there.
She would grab him and start beating him, and all of us would run and jump on her and pulling her off of him and crying and helping him.
I would say my brother has full reign over my kids if he had to discipline them. My parents, if they had to discipline them. So there's people I would trust. Strangers, not so much.
I know their aunts and uncles have the right to discipline them. Physically, no, because I don't agree with that kind of discipline. I could say you could tell them, put them on timeout. You can, even go to where you want to take away things. Maybe, I don't know if I would 100.
You just said put them on timeout?
Put them on timeout or put them on, what? Timeout. What's the other one?
I don't know. I've never had a timeout in my life. So
So I don't
make them stand in the corners. That's part of timeout?
I've done that to my children. Even to the point where Alice used to say to me, "Mommy, you should beat us with this." Because I don't believe in whippings. I never got one before until that teacher. And I try to not think about it, but yeah, for no reason.
So yeah, my answer again, it depends. If I know this person or whatever, and they've been with somebody for a while, and it's been quite a while.
Let us know how you feel about a step-parent disciplining their stepchildren physically. I understand that you can discipline your child by taking away things that mean stuff to them.
I guess when you say discipline, spanking a child in that regard, right?
Spanking, yeah. Alrighty, so that's wrapping this up. We gotta go, and I'll see y'all next week.